Hey everybody, Bill in Virginia, and the start of the backdrop project. So this might go over two, maybe three videos over the next few weeks as I kind of get this thing moving along. So you can see I've got some materials. I bought a 4x8 sheet of pink foam board yesterday, and some other materials that I'm going to be using for the backdrop. Some paints for it, some of the construction adhesive for foam board, a variety of hardware to fasten it, and gave me a good excuse to buy a number of clamps, which I like tools, so that was fun. But I'll show you in the next video just how I'm going to put this together. I still got a lot of work to do, but this is just sort of the rough cuts. Got another piece of that 4x8 foam board up there, and that's actually where I'm going to store the backdrops when they're not in use. And I'm going to make a number of them. Probably anywhere from probably four, if not more. At least two, maybe three in each of the scales. So we'll see, but I'm going to start working on this one. So more coming. So here's the basics of how this backdrop is going to be put together. You can see I'm using the white, and I call it like plasticized wood, trim, 1/4 inch thick as the base. Then I've got a sandwich of the two pieces of 1 inch pink foam board, and then another piece of the white. Right now I'm just using a clamp to hold it together on that end and that end. I'll use hardware drilled through at about 2-foot intervals roughly on the white to make sure I got a good, good base for it. I will use foam board adhesive to ultimately glue the two pieces of foam board together, but it is 16 inches tall, and this one's going to be for the end scale. So I've already got the support ledge built and installed. And what it is it comes out just about a little over 1/2 inch ultimately under on the side of it. And this is going to be the lip that the white strip on the facing side is going to be against, as well as part of the foam board. That's going to be enough to support the weight of it. Then I'm going to be using a clamp, and I'll come in and, like this is the end of the backdrop here, be able to clamp it underneath. It'll clamp to the frame of the layout. About 3 of those along the length of the backdrop. And you know what? I've got it. I've got my portable backdrop in place. So what I'm going to do is I'll show you what I'll be doing with this particular piece of foam board in this next piece here. So while it's complicated and not easy to do one-handed, hence I'm only using the narrow, basically foot section, what'll happen is I'll be able to bring it up and set it on this ledge piece, roll it up into place, and you can see it rests on there pretty good. I'll be able to clamp then the entire thing in position once I've got it there. But what I'm going to do next, and excuse that as I have to get my hands, is I'm going to come back in and I'm going to trace the terrain outline on the back of this piece so that I can cut it to fit what I'm going to be doing on the layout. You know, I'll kind of cut it a little bit deeper for the valley, for the little stream. I will angle it up so that it meets the contours of the mountain. And you can see it only gets up to about here before it goes below the base of the mountain. I will add on another piece of foam board to the main backdrop to accommodate for all of this area. That'll be on the final piece once I get it all glued in. You'll also notice I got about a 1/4 inch gap right there because of what's going to be the white strip. And that's okay. As I get this cut and it'll be level with the surrounding terrain, I can use vegetation. I can use other things to blend it in. I have some building flats that are coming once the Postal Service gets unburied that'll go in some of the industrial areas, as well as some trees and vegetation that I know I'm going to be putting on. So this should work. It should give me some illusion of a little bit more depth than what I've got. So next piece of this video segment should show these together. I should have it put together and ready to be painted. Unfortunately, it is below freezing today in Richmond, Virginia. So that's probably not going to happen, at least for a day or two, before I can take it outside and I can paint this piece as well as the cut piece on here. So we'll see how it looks here in a little bit. All right, here is the first backdrop, basically put together. I have not glued the foam board yet, and this style of bolt is temporary. Found I didn't have the ones I wanted where I could actually do a flush mount in, so these protrude a little bit. I'm going to get some different ones for these. But I'm going to get it mounted. Let's just take a look how it looks. It is nice and light, and that's exactly what I'm after. You know, I think this is going to work out pretty well. So here's how it mounts on the back side of the layout. It is resting on that little ledge that I put in earlier. You can see, if I go a long ways, you can see how that white kind of flexes. That's because of those bolt heads and the way I've got it. I changed those bolts. That's going to get rid of that, and I can snug it up. But here we go. 3 quick clamps, just kind of holding it in place on the edge. It's solid. It's not going anywhere. I still have to come back in, and I will add an additional 1-inch piece here just to fill in this gap up to the edge, just like I did on the other. But let's see how it kind of looks. So here we are from the side where I do most of the operations on the layout. I think this is going to work. I think this is going to work out well. I get the additional stuff into the mountain. I can have a backdrop. I can do some work with some paints and some different things. Paint my pink to blue and some white. I've got it where it follows the contours of the layout down at the base, so I can do some stuff to kind of blend that in. It's up high enough where if I'm in and I'm doing some video work or taking some pictures and I've got trains running, I'm not seeing the workbench. I've got to go way up high before I see the workbench. And even when I'm over in the city of Alta, if I'm doing some filming and some modeling up here, granted the backdrop is not that high. And you know what, maybe I'll do that next 1-inch piece and just let it go up over the back, just to kind of give me a little bit more elevation so that I can do a little bit more just to hide it. And I'm thinking of that as I'm going, and I'll see what I can do. But this is going to work. I think this is going to work out well. So like I said in the beginning, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 2, maybe 3 per layout. Maybe even more. Maybe have both sides completely done. This side will be more industrial on the backdrop. This side will be more in towards some mountains in the background and maybe a little bit of industry near here. But hey, I'm a happy camper. I think this is going to work. So that's probably it for this one. Just a short set of videos because I need some nice weather in order to give that a paint job. And then I'm still waiting on some materials to come in the mail for some building flats that I ordered. And so once I get it painted, I can start getting scenery on it. It should not take too long to figure out what I want to do and at least start playing with it. But I've got to get the board glued. I got a bunch of things to do. So you know what? I think I'm going to call it for a day on this. I'm also going to do some over on the HO scale layout. I have got some new engines coming from Santa and the United States Postal Service, which have not arrived yet, but they will be here. So I'm going to have some fun over on the HO scale layout, doing more switching, and another project over there that I'll show video of probably next time, once I get that one a little farther along. So this ought to keep me busy while I'm doing some Christmas vacation time here. Anyway, that's it for today. Have a great weekend and continue to have a great and safe holiday. More to come. Take care and keep having fun with your layout.